There can only be one person that is the best at something. When you think of basketball, who comes to mind? For old heads, it might be Bill Russell, 11-time NBA champion. For younger people like me, it might be LeBron James, and he's still somehow playing. But when you think of Rainbow Six Siege, who do you think of? Who really is the greatest of all time at Siege? In this video, I aim to answer that question once and for all. I just peeped my analytics, 99.5% of you guys are not subscribed. Honestly, that's pretty criminal, so subscribe. What makes a GOAT? Is it how dominant you were along your career? Or is it who is statistically the best player at that certain time? Or is it how long you did well in your career? These are great questions to have. There is one thing that I think outweighs all of them: a player's legacy. What will you be remembered by? Will you be remembered by coming up short all your career and not living up to expectations? Or will you actually show up when it matters and cement yourself into the history of this game? Unfortunately, the history of Siege can only go back to 2016 because that's how far back Siege.gg goes back, and that's the only R6 tracker that actually accurately tracks stats for all competitive R6 play. But for me, there are three potential players that I think are good enough to be called the greatest of all time in Siege. So I want to go over the case for all three of them and take a deep dive into all their careers. Who is the best player out of these three players? Just based on stats, who would you want the most on your team? Now, what if I add one more thing? Does your answer change based on who has won a world championship? Keep your answer in the back of your mind as we go through each player's career. Although I did make a joke on one of my previous videos about how Canadian should retire, Canadian in his prime is one of the greatest to ever do it. There really is no question about it. Starting off with his career at Continuum and winning the first ever Six Invitational, Canadian has definitely been here since the beginning. He's the exact kind of teammate that you want on your team, a true leader and a team first player. He's not fancy with how he plays. His passion for Siege is unlike anything I have ever seen. He lives, breathes Siege, and although I was not involved in the Siege scene back in the day, his rivalry with Pengu has got to be one of the greatest we have ever seen. When these two were on top of the Siege competitive scene, it was truly peak. Easily the best in-game leader the game has seen, and there's definitely a case for him to be in the GOAT conversation. He definitely does not have the most impressive resume with his kills, but does everything that doesn't show up on the scoreboard. If there's one person you the true definition of a gunner, the best aim I've ever seen anyone have in the game. Just go watch his highlights. He truly is just different. He was so good that he got banned for cheating when he wasn't and came back and dropped the most kills ever in a pro league match the first game he played back. If you look at last year's stats and players who have played at least 50 maps in the last year, here are all the players. And then here's Shaiko. When he actually is playing and not banned, he is in a league of his own. The dominance he has on the best players in the world on a consistent basis is scary. But the question is, can Shaiko really be a GOAT? I mean, he is the most mechanically skilled player in the game, but has 0-6 invitational wins to his name. Him and BDS do have major tournament wins, he just has never won the big one. But do you really hold him back because of that? I guess that's up for you to decide. The man who actually caused Shaiko to get banned, Pengu, the best smoke player the game has ever seen. I keep saying that, but it has ever seen, that's all I fucking say. This man and smoke go together like peanut butter and jelly. I know you like that one, come on. It just makes sense. His dominant run was so good, he was arguably the best player in the world for years. And his dominant run was a big thanks to him and Fabian leading the team. Pengu was Jordan and Fabian was Pippin, and they had a dynasty going. Pengu has 2 6 invitational wins, one with Penta and one with G2. Of course, they were back-to-back wins. One of the only players in history to go back-to-back in the biggest Siege tournament in the world. It's hard to track how dominant he truly was because of the limitations of stat tracking, but what has been tracked, his resume is one of the best in the world. It's a shame that he retired, but it was time. You want to end your career on a high note and not let it get to a point where it's tarnishing your legacy, and that's exactly what he did. He now commentates for Siege, and it really suits him, bringing knowledge to the game that many casters can't say for themselves.
Dropping the clutch right there. Pengu, the heroic stakes. Pengu clutches it. 1-1. First kill, he goes for the Deagle kill. Can he get it? He does get the Deagle kill!
Pengu's fucking insane. He's insane.
He'll do it all himself. The MP5 all rushing over. Pengu with huge 2 and pulling out the shotgun for 3.
Winnable for Pengu.
Attacker's activating the diffuser.
He doesn't have any lifelines left. That's the kill. He peeks around the corner. The Jaeger knows where it's at. And there's Pengu. He clutches it. Peek this too much. You just gotta wait until it gets in the crossfire. And Pengu gets 1. Pengu gets 2. No, 3 down.
On the line here is the potential for EG to be able to go to series point. You can hear the mirror coming down, but Penta will win this one. BC falls. Pengu plays that smart.
We'll get sexy 4 thrown out, and that will deny it. Here we go. 2 double kill and a triple from Pengu.
Are so close here. They've got 30 seconds to go, but Pengu steps up. It comes down to 1v1. What a flick coming out. He is the clutch god. Can he swing around and collect it? Goes for the spray. Misses. They miss each other, but Pengu finds it.
Either way, we are 1 versus 2. We are 1 versus 1. Pengu on a triple. Can it be a 4K for the round? And the match? Yes, it can.
So who really is the greatest of all time? Whoever you think it is, just know it's quite hard to pick one. There really are so many good picks that you could have, but for me, it definitely comes up to these 3. And about that blind test, here are the results. Personally, my GOAT has to be Pengu, just for how dominant he was, and he kind of helped me get into Siege in the first place. Watching him made me get better and motivated me just to play the game. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and have an amazing rest of your day. I'm out.